You read the title. Today, I'm showing you what I believe to be the best settings currently available in the finals, so let's just jump straight in. The first setting is actually super important. You want to turn enemy team colors on. This will allow you to see what team a player is on based on the color of their outline. This could be useful by helping you decide who to focus in a fight, and sometimes you might want to let one team get a cash out steal off because it is more favorable to your team. Crosshair settings are up to your preference, and there aren't many ways to make it better in the first place, so just leave it as is. Maybe change the color or opacity, but that's it. Now on to mouse and keyboard. Your keybinds are mostly preference, but there's a few I'd recommend. If your mouse has buttons on the side, you should definitely take advantage of that. I would recommend you to switch your specialization button to one of them, and this is for a very important reason. For example, let's use Light's evasive dash. You don't want to be taking one of your fingers off of the W, A, S, and D keys because it limits your movement capabilities. If you have it bound to a mouse button instead, you can freely press it whenever you want while also moving in any direction. Another one I'd recommend is your quick melee key, and this is for the same reason. You don't want to limit your range of motion or reach across the keyboard if you need to melee someone as a last resort. For accessibility, it's mostly preference. I've heard of some players using the Tritanopia color settings, but I just keep it on default. I would recommend keeping subtitles off though, just so they aren't distracting you, but if you prefer to keep them on, it won't really impact you that much. Starting at the bottom this time, for video settings, you want to put everything on low for the most frames. The game still looks great, so there's not really reason to turn them up. However, I would put viewing distance on epic or at least high. That way you can see what's going on across the map and get really as much info as possible. Back to the top, you want to put your game in full screen and not windowed full screen, because this will give you the least input lag. And to reduce input lag further, if you think your PC can handle it, I would turn on NVIDIA Reflex Low Latency to on plus boost if possible. I would also recommend keeping DLSS frame generation off as well as VSync. For resolution scaling method, it doesn't really matter which you go with, but I would recommend either DLSS on performance or TAAU and tweak it to whatever satisfies you. Finally, you want to have your field of view as high as you can tolerate, preferably at 100. There's so much going on in this game, and you want to be able to keep track of as much of it as possible. And never have motion blur on, it's atrocious. Lens distortion is very minor, but I like to keep it off to get the most accurate image possible. And guys, nobody needs ray tracing in a competitive shooter, so putting it on static is a no-brainer. Before you click off this video, you might not see me again, so please consider hitting that subscribe button so you can catch my next video on the finals. Thanks for watching. Peace.